Of course, when it comes down to all these vocal technique exercises, you do know, don't you, that it's not just a question of going through the routines with me on the videos. Of course, in all the many videos that I have shared on this channel since I started doing this thing about a year ago, many of the exercises are exactly the same. Why is there a need to repeat them? Well, because that is the practice, of course, but what every teacher really hopes to impart to a student is that what the most important lesson is behind all of the exercises is your willingness to really understand what's going on with your unique voice. You'll have different issues to a singer who might be sitting next to you. Your range will be different to their range, and their foibles will be different to your foibles. Their worries and concerns may be different to yours, and their experience of singing throughout life may well be different to yours. But if you're really hooked on this vocal technique, this singing journey, you need to stop and take ownership of how much information you're really taking in. When you're learning a craft like singing, in your brain there are neurons being fired and they are waving at each other and trying to make connections. And as you've heard me say many, many times, there are basically 5 elements that we really have to think about within our singing framework, if you like, the map, what we think of. And they will be the 5 essentials: posture, breathing, onset. Lip trills really represents support, but also ticks these boxes as well: posture, breathing, onset. And then the last one that we think about, the icing on the cake, is resonance. What you're doing with those vibrations, where you're sending them and how you're delivering them. And with each repetition, you hope that those neurons will recognize each other again and they will find each other sooner, and therefore you eventually acquire your skill. The only way that you're going to get true worth out of the vocal exercises is not just singing along with me. There's lots of value in doing that, but ultimately you're an individual, you're unique. And therefore, what you really need is another pair of eyes and ears on what you're doing vocally. There's no way around it. The best step that I ever took was a very brave one about a long time ago now, where I knew that what I was doing vocally was not really, it wasn't satisfying, and I felt like I was singing and I had hit a kind of ceiling on what I could do. I met this vocal coach at a summer school. I watched him work with a whole group of people who had been kind of given to him as people to work with for that week. And I was blown away by what he could get out of those people. And so, not that year, but the following year, I asked him, when I met him again, could I be included in this group? Which I was. The most important thing was I decided to take control of what was happening to me in my voice, and I realized that I needed to know and understand more about how it works. And once I had reached that decision and I committed to what was in the end in excess of 30 years of travelling to London for one-to-one sessions with this wonderful vocal coach, I'm very fortunate to have had all that time with him. I've never looked back. It's been worth every single journey that I've ever made, because you need someone who is able to watch and listen to you, observe and know and have enough knowledge about vocal technique and singing in general, songs, repertoire, to be able to steer you in the right direction. And I know from experience that you cannot do that on your own. Airflow, not air blow. The breathing exercise, the importance of that postural alignment, essential throughout everything that you're singing. How do you know if you're doing it? How do you know if you're keeping it up? The onset, the moment that your voice starts to make sound. So you've got your airflow to the source of the sound and up and into your resonance. How do you know you're doing it correctly with the right hang of the jaw? The root of the tongue is not getting too involved. How about your laryngeal position? All that sort of stuff. And then you get into the lip trills themselves. Lip trills, as you know, are one of my favorites. Number 4 of my essential 5. Because if you can do a lip trill really well and sound like a motorbike, not a moped, all right, so you're getting some real vocal sound, then you're well on your way to getting the feeling of what it means to be connected and into the body, because lip trills only really work well when that is happening. And because the first 4 steps, the posture, breathing, onset, lip trills or support, are all kind of on your artist's palette or singer's toolbox, then you have a chance of really appreciating and understanding how you send your voice, those vibrations, up into what we call your resonance. Okay, all of this takes practice, but truly you need other people. You need at least one person to regularly watch and listen to you, to know and tell you, guide you where things might be actually going wrong or could be made better or are fantastic, and build your confidence. Okay, I had to take control of my own vocal journey in the end. Now I teach people what I know from the inside out. I'm not just a voice teacher, but I am actually a vocalist myself, a classical singer. Pay attention to the small stuff. Make sure you really understand the basics of vocal technique. Don't get sidetracked by worrying about how big your range is or even where your voice truly sits. Make sure that as you do the exercises with me, that you are really thinking about your posture, your breathing. What sort of onset do you have? Is it breathy, balanced or glottal? What about those lip trills? Are you getting used to doing those? And how do they feel from the inside? And what about your resonance? How is that? Those 4 basics, how are they paying off into your resonance? A final piece of advice, use this channel to your advantage. If there's a question that you have in your head about your vocal technique or something that's not quite sitting right, it's worth using the search on the channel, because I have uploaded lots of videos and some don't get the attention that, say, the warm-ups and the sequences do. So there might be a very short video that's got the answer to the question you're asking, and by putting in the search that word that you're looking for, the videos will come up that mention that, and you can take it from there. But you cannot do this singing thing on your own totally. You have to, at some point, depending on how devoted you are to the journey, you have to think about getting some one-to-one mentoring, guidance or teaching. That's it. But really, note to self, this person has to be somebody that you truly trust, knows what they're talking about. Okay, that's it. That's my message. Coming up next is my most watched video. It's interesting to see what people go for. So hang around, see if you like it. But don't forget, if you've got a query, if you've got a little question in your head, you can either ask me in the comments, or you can do a little search and see what videos come up. Use this channel to your advantage. That's why I'm uploading videos, is to reach out and help singers just like you. Okay, I'll be back again soon. Bye for now. And over the last 4 weeks, including today, we've been gradually working our way through those 5 essential tools that singers need to think about when they are singing, okay? And that's whether you're learning how to sing or whether you're contemplating doing some singing. If you want something that's going to be really supportive in your learning process, then knowledge of the 5 essentials, these 5 things that we've been covering over the last 4 Saturdays, including today. I'm just trying to get this best sorted out for you. What we've been covering is ideal. It's the 5 essentials, okay? So today's the last one, and last week's we covered quite a bit. I sort of took you through the basic idea of why vocal warm-ups, why these tools are so important to us all as singers, no matter where we are on our vocal journey. Okay, so we've worked our way through so far a little tiny bit about posture. Okay, again, a vast topic, a vast thing, and lots of people are a bit intimidated about posture when you sing. Basically, it's about alignment, getting yourself in that perfect alignment. Okay, then we talked very, very briefly about this breathing thing. Everybody, when they start to learn to sing, or whether they are, no matter where they are, I guess, in their studies, concern themselves with, have they got enough breath? Will their breath last? If you've got a difficult song or a difficult aria, then often your preoccupation will be usually about the breathing, because you see it on the page, you can see where the phrase has got to go, and immediately your concentration comes quite naturally to, am I going to last? Okay, so we've talked a little bit about breathing. We've also, last week, we covered onset, the idea of making sound when your vocal folds are doing their thing, and ultimately we hear eventually your unique sound. And your sound is your sound is your sound. You cannot emulate anybody else. Your voice might sound familiar to other people listening, think, oh, her voice or his voice sounds just like so-and-so's voice. But in fact, you can't recreate someone else's sound. It has to be yours. And certainly for youngsters learning how to sing, that's often a preoccupation of theirs, is that they will be drawn towards people that they like listening to when they're singing. So onset is really important because, of course, once you've got the sound going, you've got to then maintain it. And you hope you've got the posture sorted and you've got the breath is feeding the voice and you're making the sound and making vibrations. Now, the fourth of my favourite of the toolbox, the fourth one is lip trills. Now, we started the whole series of these Saturday morning bite-sized lives with lip trills because they are like, good morning, Lynn, I've just seen you join in. Fantastic. Because lip trills, although it's number 4 on my list, they involve posture, breathing, onset. If you're doing lip trills well, all of those things will be happening in them. Okay, so let's just bear that in mind. The lip trills are great, and I hope you are persevering with your lip trills, because for me, if I'm in a rush and I haven't got much time, or perhaps I don't even feel like singing much, lip trills is well, that's the exercise I will go to most. For me, they are brilliant. So today's Bite Size Live is the 5th of the 5 essentials. Okay, and don't forget, if you want to know more about these 5 essentials, you can get that freebie from my free online resources on my website. So it's littlesoprano.co.uk/free online resources, and there is even a tab at the top of the website page, homepage. Hi Lynn, it's nice to see you. I hope your voice is feeling okay. Where are you joining me from this morning? Are you in Scotland? Okay, so if you want to have kind of a running playlist of all of these 5 things to go through at any time you wish, then go and get that freebie. Okay, so sirening. All right, so again, we are starting in a nice place in your voice, okay? It's something that feels very kind of your natural place to go towards to sing. Now I'm going to start here because obviously I'm demonstrating this morning. Just get the right foot on the pedal. And sirening involves a specific sound. So like any word that ends with ng, like sing, just examine what goes on there. How does your tongue come up to make the sound? Examine that for a minute. Just say sing, sing. Okay, now if you've got it right, and you can compare notes with me now, if you're doing an the correct way, what you'll be aware of is that the back of your tongue, the bit at the back, I'm gonna have a little cough, comes up to meet your soft palate. That's the kind of tickly bit with the uvula that hangs down at the back. That kind of arching muscle at the back of your mouth is your soft palate, or velum. And the back of your tongue, as you go into say sing, comes up and meets it. Okay, you can feel it. But you might notice that the front of my tongue is behind my teeth. So what does that do? And basically, that will drive all the sound you're making from here up into your resonating chambers at the back of your throat. And it actually pushes the sound up into this part of you. You're picking up vibrations more from the front of your face, and it forces the sound down your nose more. So it's going to sound more resonant. So this is a great exercise for practicing resonance. Okay, resonance. So when you go sing, the test is if you pinch your nose and the sound stops, you're doing an correctly. So you can practice that, getting your correct, and you might just start to notice how it makes you feel round about where your jaw is concerned. You know, when your jaw is dropping to do the it should feel perfectly relaxed. Okay, so we're meeting three things here. We're meeting resonance, the idea of resonance. We're meeting what is my tongue doing, and we're also meeting what is the relationship with my jaw. What am I doing with my jaw? All right, so now we're going to get down to the exercise that you can practice. And don't forget, this exercise is in the free online resource, the audio playlist. If you haven't got your link, it's there for you to go and grab. So do that thing. Now, getting back to the piano, it's very similar. We're going to use the same kind of exercise idea in terms of notes as we have done with the other exercises, so not to overcomplicate things. And you're going to start by getting that ready, and we're going to slide up and down to 5 notes above and back down to the home note again. I'll just demonstrate, and then I'll change key and you can join in, okay? So this is a very basic, essential toolbox, just to check that. Resonance, check in with the jaw, check in with the tongue. Here we go. So I'll demonstrate. You can join in if you wish, if you know what I'm going to do. Here we go. It goes. And next one. Allow the air in. Check your jaw. Couple more. Last one. Okay, so how did that feel? Should feel nice and relaxed. There should be no pushing forward on the jaw to get the pitch. Everything, if this was a silent film, you should not be able to know what I'm doing, whether I'm going up or down, or even if I'm making sound. I don't physically really show it much, okay, because remember, these are just warm-up tools, okay? They're not for making really wonderful, beautiful sounds. This is just you literally kind of signing in, getting that feeling of connecting with your voice. Okay, now you can extend that exercise and do the whole octave jump. So where you go, try it with me.
that'll feel like inside is a bit weird, really. If you've not done sirening before, it's not about belting out a huge volume of sound. It's about really just tapping into the feeling of accessing those notes. And you might notice again that I'm sliding between the pitches. I'm not jumping. And that is to kind of, like a piece of elastic, you're trying to join everything together. All right, enjoy your singing, and thank you so much for joining me. Bye for now.